Let's say that you're a gaming company and you've created this incredible game. It's extremely popular and everyone loves it. What do? Well, if you're smart, you make a scenario editor for it. And that's just what SSG has done for their hit, Warlords 2.
Yep, capitalism is a wonderful institution.
A big improvement that Warlords 2 made over the original is the option to use a random map. Being able to create maps at will was a perfect addition to a great strategy game. But after a while, people started to realize that there was something missing. So, here it is, the scenario editor for Warlords 2.
The scenario builder is a great idea and a good product, but don't you think that SSG could have included the option to edit maps in the original game instead of having the user go out and buy the add-on for an extra $40? I know it came with 3 discs, but how many of the discs do you think are filled with extra maps SSG has generously included with the editor?
You start the editor with 2 blank blue screens. The one on the left is your close-up view, and the one on your right is your strategic view showing your entire map. In the lower right-hand corner, you have the different terrain types.
Each terrain type can easily be placed in the close-up view, but if you want it to show up in the strategic view, you have to choose Remap. Fortunately, it only takes a few seconds to remap the entire screen. Most of the terrain types have several variants, which can be reached by clicking on the More Detail button.
The interface is easy to use, commands are easy to learn, and the hotkey system makes everything very quick. One big bonus in the editor is the inclusion of 24 pre-made scenarios that can be played or used as a reference.
Although the scenarios probably took up 2 out of the 3 discs, they're quite creative, and they give the initiate map designer some insight into how far one can really take this editor. There are quite a few things that the builder will let you change other than just the map. The graphics for both the cities and the armies can be changed to whatever you'd like. On the right-hand side, you have a representation of how your picture will look against the various background colors.
From sci-fi to Mesopotamian myth, you can create your own monsters from the ground up. First, click on the icon you'd like to change under Edit Armies. Then, give it its own name and edit the stats. Finally, you can edit the picture. You'll do so in a blown-up, pixelated paintbrush box. There's a limited palette of colors, but it is possible to create something with the use of light and shade that looks acceptable in miniature minimized.
One unfortunate thing about this particular editor is that you're not able to import pictures for your armies or cities, only your map. And after editing your army and city pictures, you'd think that you'd be able to edit the different terrain tiles and shields, but for some dumb reason, you can't.
You're absolutely right. If you've got to do something of this sort, why not go all the way? As you might have guessed, you are able to change almost any attribute of anything you can think of, from armies to ruins to cities and even signs. And if there's any kind of name in the original Warlords 2 game that you don't like, it can be changed.
As an example of this liberal freedom, I made a monster with a move of 98. I edited the picture into a bright yellow meteor with legs. To keep it fair, though, I only gave him a strength of 1.
A scenario editor wouldn't be a scenario editor if all you could do was edit maps. In the Warlords 2 scenario editor, you're able to create a virtual world by giving descriptions of your various cities, ruins, characters, and generally giving anything in the game descriptions. A creative person can combine these together to create a very convincing storyline.
The real pain lies in the fact that in order to create a believable map, you have to name all of your cities. As you start getting into the 50s, your little city name muse starts to get very tired.
Overall, the Warlords 2 scenario editor is a perfect addition to the Warlords games. It's got almost everything you could want in an editor, and its ease of use is a breath of fresh air compared to many of the other editors out there.
Believe it, folks, the joy challenging the AI on your home turf gives you a slight air of security and a boost of morale, which comes in handy if you just come off a losing streak.